What's up guys, Nathan here. A few hours ago, GGG dropped patch notes for Blight League, so I'm finally able to put out my 3.8 starter list. If you don't know what a League starter is, it's a build that functions well on little to no currency, is all content friendly, and can scale reasonably well into maps. As usual, this list will only contain the best and most reliable starters while also considering the nerfs and buffs included in today's patch notes. My goal is to create a diverse list of builds that are not only new player friendly, but also have different strengths for different league starting strategies. If you're interested in more experimental starters, keep an eye out for my next video after tomorrow's gem data reveal where I'll talk about the various ideas I'm considering for my own league start. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Impale Champion. To just about everyone's surprise, Impale in general received 0 direct nerfs. For pure physical attack builds, it provided over 100% more damage against enemies that lived long enough to let you rack up several hits on them. In the case of Champion, this multiplier is even bigger and also comes along with a massive chunk of flat physical damage and armor. The footage you're seeing is from Asteriff's fantastic Perforate/Bladestorm Champion, but you can honestly use pretty much any non-conversion melee skill in the game. Blade Flurry, Reave, Lacerate, and even Cyclone after the nerfs are more than viable to league start with for Champion. I'll also be including a generic crit sword tree in the description below once Path of Building is updated. The main benefits of this build are its huge boss damage, solid tankiness, and amazing endgame scaling. Its downsides are its dependence on good weapons and ascendancy points, but it's still a fantastic option for melee enthusiasts looking for the most reliable league start possible. Necromancer. As painfully general as this suggestion may seem, there's a reason why I'm not being super specific here. Thanks to the changes to minion gem scaling and the addition of minion AI altering supports, you could really play this ascendancy however you want. However, for those of you looking for a little more direction, here are a few options. First of all, we have Viper-esque's pure physical skeleton and zombie Necromancer. He's already confirmed he'll be playing it as his league starter, so you can expect his guide to be updated quickly. This build was already a fantastic budget starter and will likely improve drastically. Next, we have Angry Roleplayer's Guide to Spectres. This man has literally put out an entire video series dedicated to testing different specters, and he's always on top of keeping his guides up to date. Some of you may be put off by the obtuse mechanics required to obtain specters, but luckily all of this is going away in 3.8, so I suspect the skill will be far more appealing to those who have shunned it in the past. Lastly, I'm going to recommend Summon Raging Spirits. There are a number of great SRS guides out there, but I personally think Brittle Knees takes the cake. Not only is it highly detailed and beginner friendly, but it comes with a 30-page leveling guide. If you're interested in a unique and strong summoner build, SRS is your best bet. It feels criminal to only list 3 Necro builds here, but I know it's not everyone's favorite, so I won't keep going. Just know that the options available for summoners this league are better than ever, and you can't go wrong league starting as one. The only potential drawback might be the typical cost of min-maxing a meta build, but then again, it's not like minions need a ton of items to do all content anyway. Essence Drain Trickster. Next up, we have an absolute staple of league starter lists, the tried and true Essence Drain Trickster. As usual, the build has decent clear speed and damage, requires almost 0 investment, and provides a unique 1-2 playstyle that you can't help but either love or hate. The build was indirectly nerfed going into this patch, with Contagion losing about 20% of its area of effect and Trickster's Ghost Dance node getting numerically adjusted. Luckily, neither of these changes are all that significant, as the Contagion nerf isn't terribly noticeable, and you don't have to take Ghost Dance anyway. In fact, my version of the build never took Ghost Dance, so it's relatively untouched. I'll be linking my video guide in the description below, as well as providing a new Path of Building paste spin once it gets updated. The biggest pros of this build include its absurdly low starting cost, high clear speed, and unique gameplay, while its major con is its only average boss damage. Spell Totems Hierophant. Again, I apologize for being so general, but hear me out. Blight League's core mechanic is tower defense, and what could be stronger than building towers? Well, you build towers. Hierophant has traditionally been the premier ascendancy for most spell totem builds, and I've picked out a couple of examples. First up, I have to give props to Freezing Pulse and Frostbolt Totems. The skills are just super strong mechanically. Free GMP via Threshold Jewels, built-in Pierce, and of course the inherent benefits of being cold spells. The guide I'll be recommending is written by Visor X and will take you through the various stages of gearing as you continue to dump currency into the build. The other build I want to cover is Theon's Glacial Cascade Totems. Glacial Cascade is also a cold spell that plays similarly to Freezing Pulse but has worse clear speed in exchange for higher single target damage. If the tower defense mechanics of Blight end up requiring some serious DPS to take care of the tankier mobs, this might be the ideal totem choice. If neither of those totem builds seemed up your alley, I have good news for you. The beauty of spell totems is they all use similar trees, and it's relatively easy to try out different gems while leveling. So, I've included another generic tree, this time for Hierophant totems, with a few spare points for you to allocate to whatever nodes you think would best fit your chosen spell. Some fun options I recommend trying include Ice Spear, Magma Orb, Divine Ire, Purifying Flame, Bladefall, Arc, Firestorm, and Winter Orb. The benefits of playing a spell totem Hierophant include great damage and survivability, a safe playstyle for beginners, and the stupidly low cost. The only downsides are the potentially slower clear speed of some spells and the unfortunate fact that totems are just not most people's cup of tea. Toxic Rain Pathfinder. The second to last build I have for you today has quickly become a staple of these lists, and it is the fantastic Toxic Rain Pathfinder. Once again, I'll be recommending Angry Roleplayer's Guide as it has served us well in the past, and knowing him, it won't stop doing so anytime soon. However, if you've played enough Pathfinder and want to try something new, you should also consider checking out Typical Demon's Toxic Rain Trickster, which even though it's being nerfed slightly, will still provide the opportunity to respec into Assassin once builds for all the new skills begin to surface. The pros of Toxic Rain are its solid internal scaling, excellent AoE and clear speed, and built-in slowing effects. The skill honestly doesn't have any significant drawbacks, but I guess you could argue the semi-recent nerfs to Quill Rain have made it slightly less dirt cheap than it once was. Herald of Agony. Today's final league starter is the newly revitalized Herald of Agony. Although 3.7's light nerfs to this skill caused me to decide against including it in my last league starter video, Herald of Agony still held its own, especially for deep delve builds. The buff to Convocation's cooldown, minion AI support gems, and new sources of global minion gem levels are more than enough to push our little spider friend back to top tier. And, as always, there are a plethora of ways to build around it. My personal favorite is the max block Gladiator that I played back in Delve. Since then, the build has mostly improved, as its main drawback was how clunky Cyclone felt to play prior to 3.7. If you want to learn more about this build, I've linked an awesome SSF guide written by Keeper of Stars in the description below. However, if Gladiator isn't your cup of tea, I encourage you to experiment, as well as check out all the Herald of Agony builds on PoE Ninja from the last league. My only caveat is to avoid energy shield based guardians, as those tend to rely on stacking healthy mind jewels, which was completely removed via today's patch notes. Once again, the benefits of Herald of Agony are its flexible ascendancy choice, solid boss damage, and low investment requirement. Its downsides are its subpar clear speed and generally wonky AI, but I'm convinced this patch will significantly improve both of these problems. Anyway, that about does it for my 3.8 starter list. As always, there are plenty of other viable options out there, but these are the builds I chose to highlight, so I can assure you they're safe choices for anyone looking to have the strongest league start possible. Thanks for watching, this has been Nathan, and good luck in Blight.
Thank you!
Hey guys, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I know it was a little shorter as far as league starter videos go, but that's because I have a couple other videos I want to try to knock out before Blight League comes out. Anyway, I wanted to thank my awesome Patreon supporters, Real Human, Zikarak, Squally, Zoljan, Coda, Julia, Alan, Kepler, Sparky Kata, Fusk, Putzak, Heiser801, Olivier, Ice Dude, Ginzink, Anonymous, and Orangina. You guys are awesome. You do so much for me, really. Means a lot. So thank you. If anyone else is interested in joining the Patreon team, you can check me out at patreon.com/NathanBrotherBob. Otherwise, I have my little Discord there in the bottom right-hand corner if you want to, chat with me or anyone else in the community. Or you can follow me on Instagram at NathanWalkerYT, and that hasn't been updated in like a month, but I'm sure it will be updated at some point in the future, so consider it. It's like 6 a.m. I think I might go to sleep. Probably, I want to wait for the Path of Building update, but I really should go to sleep. Yeah, I'm going to go to sleep.